But my issue is like for people who claim to be allies or claim like, oh, like I really do care and like Black Lives Matter, blah 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 blah. If that type of person is racist towards me, oh, it's gonna be a fight. Like, because my thing is, you don't get to claim, or you don't get to virtue signal, or you don't get to claim like you're better than the white people here, and then do the same stuff that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be that way, go ahead, you fly your Confederate flag too. Like, let's not play this like little game of like, oh, I do support you and I do care about Black people and I want to be a good ally, and then literally a day later you're telling me that you're scared of me and I intimidate you and I'm aggressive. Like, come on now. Like, because I can call you out because you claim to be better, as opposed to somebody who's just blatantly racist. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you've taken your side, you're admitting that you're racist, so it's just like, at least we're in agreement there. Welcome to the Safe Space Podcast. I'm your host, and I am with let's start from the top. All right. Hello, welcome to the Safe Space Podcast. I'm your host, Sydney Rosant, and I'm with
Spencer Rosant.
Right. You're starting to climb the ranks. You're starting to, I think the next episode, I might as well just call you a host at this point, because like, you pretty much are one.
Right.
But today we're gonna have two separate segments. So we'll have our serious, deep discussion in the beginning, and then we're gonna read some confessions from people on Reddit. So whatever crazy things they've been through or done. So we're gonna do, and y'all can send me y'all's confessions that we can read from, so we don't have to go on Reddit. We can do that as well. That would be fun to see what experiences our audience has had, but. No more dilly-dallying. Okay, it's time to get into it. So, Spencer, this is kind of like it's like a sad question, but I think it's just the reality of things. When was like the first time you felt like you dealt with racism, like as a kid, that you can remember being like, okay, they're treating me this way, and it has everything to do with the fact that I'm Black?
Probably like 4th grade. Yeah, my 4th grade teacher, it was 4th grade. My 4th grade teacher was, she was not down with the brown.
Oh, wow.
She was not.
Mm-hmm. What were the things that she did that were kind of indicative of her bias against you?
Well, first of all, every day, I'm just going to make up a random name because I don't want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say this girl named Jennifer.
Okay.
Right? Definitely not her name. But she would forget to, like, push her chair in.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she would be, like, walking out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then the teacher would, like, scream at her to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure she wasn't the only one who was leaving their chair.
Was Jennifer Black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jennifer was Black. And most of the time, whenever she would yell at she really only yelled at Black students.
Okay.
And most of the times, it's when they were engaging with other people, and then she just would yell at us.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would, like, I don't remember what the punishment system was there, but, like, she made sure to exact all of it on us, of course.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, like, at what point did you put 2 and 2 together? As, like, 4th grade you've maybe never really experienced that sort of discrimination before. When were you like, okay, it's just the 3 of us getting punished now? Like, what's going on?
Well, even though we didn't learn about the full scale of it in, like, school and stuff, I still, like, knew what racism was. And so after a while, I was looking at her and I was like, so your grandma owned a plantation, didn't she?
Oh! Oh, wow.
Yeah, I could just...
You could just feel it from her. You could just feel it.
Yeah. Something just wasn't right with her.
Mm-hmm. Did you and like other Black students ever like say something, not like to her, but like to each other, like, oh, she doesn't like us, like we collectively have peeped this? Or was it more like you noticed it but you just didn't say anything?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't think I ever said anything about it until like 5th grade.
Mm.
Cause like she really wasn't that relevant to me. Like she thought she was doing something, but I was just like,
Yeah, you were just.
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's always odd when like teachers like beef with students because it's like this is a you're like 40 something, maybe even older than that, and you don't like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I'm like,
This is a child that you dislike for some reason. But I could definitely empathize because I've had multiple teachers, particularly like in middle school, I'd say, where if let's say people were talking like and I was nearby, they'd be like, Sydney, be quiet. And I'm just like, there's 8 different voices that you've heard. So it's like it's definitely not just me. Or it would just be like really little things. Like for example, my 6th grade teacher, she went out of her way to like tell me, I mean, she was like an older white woman, but she went out of her way to tell me that I wouldn't play college basketball, I guess. She was like, oh yeah, that's just probably not going to happen for you, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, like I don't understand why you're saying this to me. Like I said, I'm 12. You know what I'm saying? Like why are you trying to like crush my spirits? It's very bizarre. But anybody else in the class, they all had various interests and hobbies and things that they would like to do.
This was a teacher?
Yes. They all had various interests, hobbies, things they would like to do when they grow up. And nobody is saying that it's not feasible for them. But for me, it wasn't realistic, I guess. And like, I don't know, that kind of stuff is just, it's just bizarre. But I think for me, the first thing that ever happened that I was like, okay, this is because I'm black. Actually, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. It was somebody who told me, right? So it was 3rd grade. You remember at private schools how there would be shadows?
Yeah.
So there was the shadow, right? And I was in the lunch line. I remember this very vividly. And he comes up to me and he was just like, I think I was talking to like one of my friends or whatever. And he was just like, oh, you're dumb. And then walks away. And I'm like, hold on. Now, first thing about a shadow is that you're like supposed to be nice to them. Like you're like you're trained to woo the shadows. Cause obviously like the school wants their money. So, you know, as a student, you have to like sell the appeal of school. So I'm just like, wait, what? Hold on. But I'm in the lunch line. And the thing is like, you don't want to leave the lunch line because I don't want to, you know, like wait longer to get food. So then it's like we get to recess. And at this point, I'm like, I need to understand why this boy just called me dumb. So I go on like, not a rampage, but I'm like talking to everybody. I'm like, why did he call me dumb? Why do you think he called me dumb? Like, why did he call me dumb? Like, just bothering people. I'm not going to lie. Right. And so one of my friends, I guess, went to go talk to him because he like was avoiding me. Like, he was like, I'm not talking to this little scary black child. She's like running around asking everybody why I called her this. And so he tells my friend that the reason why he called me dumb was because I'm black. So my friend comes back and tells me, and so at this point I'm like searching for this kid. I'm like, we need to have a conversation about this. Like, but he's nowhere to be found. Like, I think at some point he ended up, like, usually they meet with like the administration and stuff, like with the parents or whatever. So I think he just dipped off. But I was just like, oh my gosh, like, wow, why would he say that? Like, that's kind of hurtful.
Did he ever go to?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because it would have definitely been a problem if he had. But I just think that, like, I think because I had grown up with those kids, like, whatever biases their families may have had or whatever, like, I didn't ever feel it because I was always their friend. And I was the only black kid in the class, too, for context. So hearing somebody else say that to me for the first time, it was like, oh, like, this is like some real stuff. The stuff that we like read about, or like, you know, during Black History Month when they tell us about racism, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm actually like there's actually people out there who still think that way. And till this day, I've been experiencing, you know, microaggressions ever since. It's been never ending. So to kind of make it more present, how do you deal with racism now?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't do a good job.
Mm,
I just let it slide
why?
because it's just like too much work, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like at some point, like I just don't really care anymore.
So you feel like you're numb to the.
Yeah, like there's nothing I can do about it.
I think that like, have you ever thought about like keeping score in a way, or keeping record of like the stuff people may say to you or text you, or like how people might address you? Like, I'm gonna keep score, and when the time is right, I'm gonna get you back. Or are you just like, I don't know, whatever, I let it go?
Mostly let it go. I've always considered like I could go on a revenge arc because I do have some screenshots, right? Like just a little quick scroll,
Oh wow.
and college admission is gonna be looking a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't.
So do you think that your response to racism, do you think that it's been like healthy, or do you think that like you kind of do feel traumatized in a way, but you just don't know what to do about it?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily healthy, but I don't feel like affected in my like everyday life by like racism.
And so moving forward, is this how you intend to continue? Just like, you know what, this is what's worked for me thus far, and then I'm just gonna, if it's not broken, don't fix it kind of vibe? Or do you think you, as you get older, you'll probably take more of a stance when you feel like you've been disrespected in that way?
I say I don't have the energy. I don't like have the mental energy, the bandwidth to like be confronting people left, right, and center, because that's what it would be. But I think like I can just like draw a line somewhere. So it's like I wouldn't let anyone say anything like wild to me, but like I'm not just gonna be confronting people over every like microaggression. Everything
Right.
like that.
Right. What's the most common microaggression you've heard?
I mean, I don't think there's like a most common one, but like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think my reaction to racism is definitely a little bit more like intense than yours, because I do like at times I'll say this, like when I was in high school, like obviously white kids, they love to say the n-word, not sure why, but they just do. And so like if for whatever reason I didn't have my earphones in, I would be like, okay. But if they're not talking to me, I'll just be like, all right, you know what, I need to get to class anyways. Like I'm not even gonna, I'm not even gonna like confront a bunch of people right now, because I just don't. Like you said, sometimes I just didn't have the bandwidth. But I think that like in general, the times where I do kind of confront people is when they try to make it seem like they're not racist, but they are racist, if that makes sense. So like, for example, we're in, Cherokee County, Georgia, and that's, it's still technically like the Atlanta metro area, but it's definitely the white part. And there's a lot of people who are blatantly and overtly racist here, like still have Confederate flags on their license plates and stuff like that. And so in that regard, if you are racist, right, you fly your Trump flag, you fly your Confederate flag, there's no surprise there for me. And I'm just like, well, that's who you are. I'm not gonna try to fight you, especially because you probably have a gun. So I'm gonna just let you be. But my issue is like for people who claim to be allies, or claim like, oh, like I really do care, and like Black Lives Matter, blah 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 blah. If that type of person is racist towards me, oh, it's gonna be a fight. Like, because my thing is, you don't get to claim, or you don't get to virtue signal, or you don't get to claim like you're better than the white people here, and then do the same stuff that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be that way, go ahead. You fly your Confederate flag too. Like, let's not play this like little game of like, oh, I do support you, and I do care about Black people, and I want to be a good ally, and then literally a day later you're telling me that you're scared of me and I intimidate you and I'm aggressive. Like, come on now. Like, because I can call you out because you claim to be better, as opposed to somebody who's just blatantly racist. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you've taken your side, you're admitting that you're racist, so it's just like, at least we're in agreement there. But yeah, like, how would you, I mean, obviously you don't really work, but how do you think you would deal with racism in a workplace? Like, if somebody were to say, like, right now you have locks, and as a guy with locks in corporate America, that's not necessarily considered very professional. So what if somebody were to tell you, like, hey, Spencer, like, you know, you're really smart and we love you. That's how they do it. We're really smart and we love you, but, you know, your locks are a little bit distracting for some people, and, like, we're not really sure that it fits the look of our company. Like, how do you think you would deal with that? Because, I mean, your hair is a part of your identity. Like, what would you do in that situation?
I feel like I would probably just, like, repeat what they were saying, but I'd be like, so what I'm hearing is, like, black people don't fit the look of your company.
Oof.
Because it's like, what can they really say to that? Because that's the truth of the matter.
Mm-hmm. That is the truth. I also think that, like, the good thing about all of this is that, like, cancel culture does exist now. And while there's some people who don't support it, aren't proponents of it, think that it's bad, I think that in this regard, like, it's not that I'm not a hater. Like, did you see the one, the white guy that asked his, I guess, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or something, but he asked her to prom in New Hampshire, or homecoming. It's homecoming season right now. And I think he said something along the lines of, like, oh, something about, like, picking cotton and how he picked her. Right. That was the sign. And so obviously, like, it went viral, and that's the type of stuff that's going to get sent to, you know, schools and everything. And my thing is, like, yeah, like, you're old enough at 17, 16, 18 years old. You're old enough to know better than to make a cotton picking joke. Like, come on. And to put it on a sign and ask somebody to homecoming. Like, I'm totally okay with those people not being able to go to college.
Yeah. Because
you should know better. And when you go to college, you're going to be around different types of people. Obviously, you probably can't handle that environment if you're making those kinds of jokes. But yeah. Do you have, like, what advice would you give to your younger self, like in the 4th grade, you know, first dealing with his first encounter of racism? What would you tell him now? Sorry.
Probably just, like, just don't really take everything that they're talking about, like, seriously, because people are just going to talk, and there's nothing you can really do about that, but you shouldn't let it become your problem. Just let it be theirs.
I think that's fair. I think, like, what I would tell my younger or 3rd grade self is that a lot of the things that people are saying, like, it's a product of what they learn at home. And like you said, like, it has nothing to do with you, who you are as a person. Like, you keep moving, you keep marching forward regardless of who thinks that you're dumb when they look at you. And there's not much that you can do about hate, which is unfortunate in our society. But like I said, you just have to keep moving forward, and then find your community that makes you safe. Yeah. Like, once you find your community, that's it. Like, don't stay around people, or don't willingly put yourself in environments where people are disrespecting you, right? Like, there's nothing you can do about somebody that walks up to you and says, like, oh, you're dumb because you're black. But don't be friends with somebody that thinks less of you because you're black, if that makes sense. So yeah, well, anything else in regards to this segment?
I don't think so. I think it's time for the confession segment.
You created this segment, so I need you to tell us the structure. I need you to tell us, like, how's this gonna go?
Okay, so we're gonna be reading some confessions on Reddit.
Okay.
And so I have a couple tiers for us to rate them as. So we're gonna start with.
What is our lowest tier?
Hmm.
Our lowest tier is what?
Our lowest tier, like the worst one or the best one.
The most acceptable.
The most acceptable is we see each other, right?
Okay.
Like we relate.
Right.
The second tier is we need to talk about this.
Okay.
Like, what exactly are you doing?
Right.
Third tier is therapy, like immediately.
Right. Yeah.
And then the fourth tier is jail. Like, you need to be in prison, like, away from society.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
So, getting on the first one, I plagiarized several papers in college and got away with it.
Okay.
Wow. When I was a kid, my teachers would always fearmonger about how plagiarism is not accepted in college and that I'd be punished if I tried it. Turns out they were wrong.
Not him testing the theory.
Because I plagiarized at least 5 papers in college and got away with it. Most egregious was my law final, where I copied and pasted material from multiple websites. Out of 11 pages, only one was actually written by me. Ooh, wow, this is bad.
Okay.
I also used the same paper for 2 different classes and reused the paper I wrote in high school. I also never read a single book in high school and you just used Spark Notes. I still got A's and B's on everything. I graduated college last year with a 3.4 GPA.
There's lots of, this is not like abnormal what he's done. There's lots of people who like make it through school without having done any of the work. So, if that's your lawyer, you're probably going to jail. Imagine your lawyer. You're like, you're on the hook for like a murder, and that's your lawyer. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never did any of my work in college, so.
No, because think about it. He wouldn't even read the case.
Right.
He'd be like, oh, I just had my friend tell me about it. I don't know what's going on.
So, like, I kind of looked it up online, so I think I have a good idea. Oh, Lord. There would be no evidence introduced. He'd only call the defendant as the witness. As the only witness. I mean, I thought I'd just call you up. Since you're the one getting accused.
That's bad.
I'm sorry. We went on a tangent, but
I'm not gonna say therapy.
What's the one before therapy?
Let's talk. We need to talk about that. We need to talk. Like intervention.
Maybe like if you just didn't want to do any of the work in college, like maybe that shouldn't have been your major.
Yeah. Maybe we should have looked for something that interested us.
Right. Like you went through college and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You didn't study.
Yeah, we need
to talk about that one. Like, he needs to talk about that one. Like, really consider, like, maybe, like, do something else.
Yeah, we need to talk. Okay. I punched my drunk best friend in the face, and he doesn't remember it.
Okay.
Darius, fake name, has been my best friend since freshman year of high school. We always had a special connection. Maybe it was because he was gay and I was lesbian, so there were no expectations we had of each other. He is the closest thing I had to a brother, and with him being younger than me, I felt a responsibility over his well-being. Over the past few years, Darius has turned into an alcoholic with additional addiction problems.
Oh, no.
Over the course of these years, I did everything that I could to try and get him help, but none of it worked. He didn't want it for himself, and that is the only way that it can successfully work. I resorted to distancing myself from him, but still trying to make time to spend with him. Yesterday, he was drunk yet again, but drunk to an extreme level. Drunk to the point he tried to rip my shirt off of me because he was horny.
Hold on. Darius is gay?
Allegedly.
Darius might be bi.
So I punched him in the face as hard as I could and left. I've always preferred to be passive and patient with people. I never yell. I never get visibly upset. I especially don't like to fight with people, but it happened. He doesn't even remember it happening. He just thinks he fell on his face. Yes, I defended myself. Yes, I have a right to be angry, but I also hurt someone that I care deeply about and have finally realized that he's not the same person I used to be close with anymore.
Okay, so I'm in between therapy and, like, what's the first one?
We see each other.
Because we see each other, like, yeah, you had to punch him, but therapy because, like, oh, wow, that's, like, really traumatizing.
It's really traumatizing, yeah.
That you're, like, your friend who you thought was, or who is gay, also, like, tried to assault you, which is, like, so...
But
I feel like
at the
it's,
same
like...
time, but in the way that she wrote this, I can tell that she's not going to cut him off. I can just tell.
Really?
I think so. Because, think about it, if
she felt too bad.
She was confident in her decision to cut this man off, she wouldn't be on Reddit confessions.
You right.
Asking, like, what should I do?
Like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So therapy.
Yeah, therapy, because I feel like the therapist will tell you to cut him off.
Yeah, therapy is a necessity.
Okay, next one.
Moving on. Okay. I hid my field trip money in someone's desk so they would get in trouble.
You hid what money?
He hid his field trip money in someone's desk so they would get in trouble.
Devious.
Definitely an asshole. I was in 5th grade, about 10 or 11 at the time. This girl named Caitlin had been the weird one in our grade. Wore cat ears and ate the big pink erasers.
She ate an eraser? The big one? The pink one? You know the one that's like this? She ate that? Oh my God.
Bon appetit. She would always get on my nerves since she sat behind me in every class, either hissing, purring, or spitting erasers around the room at people, including me on occasion. It was a week or two before the field trip.
Villain origin story. It's like this girl making cat noises,
spitting erasers at people.
He was probably like, "Ooh, okay, that's bad."
It was a week or two before the field trip, so we had to get our permission slips signed and turned in with the money. I came up with the best plan. I would put my envelope in her desk before we went out for recess. So by the time we came in, no one would think I put it there. I would pretend to cry and tell the teacher that my envelope was missing and who I thought took it. The beginning of the plan went perfectly. I successfully put it in her desk and went on my happy way to recess. All I had to do was fake being upset. We got inside and I immediately ran to my desk, pretending to search for my non-existent permission slip. Crying, I ran up to my teacher and told her that I saw Caitlin steal it before recess. Our teacher searched for it in Caitlin's desk, coming up empty-handed.
Oh!
I was beside myself, completely shocked and confused, knowing I put it in her desk. Little did I know, Caitlin already found it and stashed it in the classroom to take later. My teacher never found it, so I ended up not being able to go on the trip for insufficient funds.
No! 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 Hold on. So his plans. Okay, this is
everyone in this story is devious. Like everyone is devious. Like I've never seen.
No, what's crazy is because he thought he got her.
He did.
But she still got him in the end.
That's scary.
Wow.
She had a plan. She just needed a platform. That's all she needed. Honestly, I don't even know where do you want to put this one? Because I have no clue.
What's crazy is that he couldn't go on the field trip.
It's honestly deserved. Like,
okay, but like on some real stuff, like if he had obviously her spitting at people is disgusting. Mm-hmm. Like, and eating erasers is disgusting, but she probably had, like, an issue, or, you know, like, there's no way that she was just, like...
Just spawned like that.
Right,
Yeah.
she definitely had some problems, but, like, I don't know if the teacher needed to, like, take the erasers away from her, like, I don't understand, but I just feel like if it was really bothering him, he should have just told... Just to talk to the teacher. I don't... Look at how he played himself. He tried to be Dr. Doofenshmirtz and he tried to be Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and look at him now. No field trip. Because you still have to come to school.
Exactly.
Sitting in that classroom by himself. And she's on the field trip and she got extra money. She came to school with probably new cat ears. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. That's actually insane. What are we rating this one? What are you going to rate this one? Okay, I don't know what to say.
This is just pure, like, deviant. Like, she needs to go to jail. The way she saw that money, she said... She like snatched it.
No, but I love how she knows. She's probably terrorizing him because she knows he put it in there. And she was like,
she knew.
Then he accuses her, and I saw it in her. It's probably in her desk.
I'm gonna say we need to talk about it.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
I don't know if therapy is needed here. But I definitely am not in agreement with anything that's going on in this classroom. Nothing. I'm on no one's side.
Okay, I lied about being homicidal only for attention. And it backfired big time.
It's like I'm writing this from the county prison.
Okay, basically, like I said in the title, I lied about being homicidal, but there's so much more to the story. I lied to my counselor, parents, and even friends about this. I lied my way into getting multiple medications, which obviously didn't do anything because I simply didn't need them. I ended up in a hospital for a month, 6 weeks, 38 days, and it was honestly a good time.
Okay, if we're gonna be real, you lied about being homicidal. You have some problem
to be in the hospital.
Right. Acting like, I'm just here.
Just for a different reason. I continued, it was honestly a good time. I continued lying because I enjoyed the attention. And it was fun making friends, getting close with staff and nurses, etc. I didn't stop until I found out that I was going to a whole nother state for long-term treatment. Apparently, even though I was lying, they didn't believe it, but said this for the purpose of keeping me content.
Oh, wait, so no one believed him?
I had to go for behavioral issues and my PTSD. I was slightly confused because I wasn't aware of my PTSD or ADHD for the whole time I was there. I'm still not sure I'm leaving for my long-term care, but I know it's in a few weeks. I'm terrified. It's gonna be a while before I complete this health program. Why did I do this to myself? This isn't a good way for attention whatsoever. So, if you want attention, try to make it positive.
Mister, I can't breathe right now. I'm laughing so much. If you want attention, this isn't the way to go about it.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy. There's way too much to get into. Like, you're out of control.
It was I'm currently in a long-term facility. I think it's funny that you stopped. Is it a he or she or
I don't even know.
It's funny that they stopped lying when they realized they're going to the long-term facility. And they still got sit there.
They're like, we know you've been lying. That's bad. It's bad. Okay.
He said, I didn't even know I had PTSD or ADHD. We knew you had something. Okay. Right. It was the life lesson afterwards. Like, if you're gonna get attention, let it be positive.
Just go to the facility.
We already
get
knew
off
this.
The phone.
Right.
Okay, I think this is the last one, right?
Alright, yeah, this will be the last one.
I've stolen about 12,000 pounds from my dad. Probably going to get... These are not good people. Oh, I can't. Probably going to get disowned. Hello, just a throwaway account to get this off my chest. I already understand the huge mistake I've made in writing this post in preparation to actually tell my dad I have used that much of his money. My dad recently sold a property for about £231,000, and it was in my name.
Okay.
So the funds were transferred to my account. It started off small, where I'd buy some stuff that I always wanted, like clothing items, then buying some more expensive stuff like a PC and other technology. I spent around £12,000 in the last 6 months. And then my dad wanted to purchase another property.
Ooh.
And so he asked me to do the proceeds, sending the funds to the solicitor, which was $204,000. My dad buys properties and then renovates them to sell on, and during the last 2 months, he's probably asked me to send him about £12,000 for his cost, and there's about £3,000 left.
Oh!
I know he's going to find out, obviously, and the next time he calls me requesting for me to send money, I will have to let him know I spent majority of it and offer to pay it back over time with my wages. But I know that will delay the timings of his work, as it will be at a much slower rate of like $500 a month. I've already accepted that he will be very angry and probably disown me, which is acceptable with my behavior. I feel very guilty and stupid for not thinking of the consequences and becoming greedy. I have mentioned to my dad, and he was very angry. I offered to pay it back, and he bluntly agreed, hanged up, and hasn't spoken to me since.
Oh, this is like an update?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been made aware I could be under bigger trouble, as my dad may have been evading tax with these properties and everything in my name.
No! Not the dad being a criminal! Okay, so this runs in the family.
Yeah, very much genetic.
Wait, keep reading. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so knowing that the dad is also a criminal, I'm like, we need to talk some more about this.
We need to talk, but they also just need to be in prison for a little while.
Yeah, both of y'all. Well, I mean, the dad might be going to jail.
A quick visit to the county jail for both.
Right.
Both parties involved.
Okay, but the fact that he was buying, when I heard he was buying these properties, I was like, okay, look at you go. But to evade taxes,
I was like,
money laundering.
I was like, okay, entrepreneur, and then
He had from the IRS. Or I guess they're in pounds, so whatever they have in England. The England IRS. I don't really know what to say about this one. Because, like, the son is dead wrong. Like, you know, you're wrong. But, like, at the same time, you know, it's like...
they're both wrong.
Right.
They both need to be in jail.
The fact that it's, like, the reason why this is such a... Because I think I can understand it from... Because, like, okay, I could get disowned because what you did was wrong, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like, I didn't think that there was so much at stake.
Right. Yeah, the dad is dead wrong.
No, he is dead wrong. Whole family.
That family line is just... They need to
okay, but why did he... Okay, but then the funny thing about the kid is that the kid didn't offer to sell any of the stuff that he bought. He's like, I'll pay it back with my wages, but that PC, those clothes...
Keeping that.
Right. That's funny.
Behind bars.
Yeah.
Behind bars.
Behind bars for sure. This was funny. I like the confessions. I like the confessions. So, you know, we gonna make this a consistent thing?
I think we should.
I think we should as well.
I like a confession segment. That was good.
Me too. That
was good.
Me too. Those were hilarious.
Ooh, that was
hilarious. Good. Okay, so if you made it this far, you know, this was a good episode.
It was a good episode. We really went from like 100 to 0.
We did.
But also the confessions went from 0 to 100 as well. So it's like very, very different.
The energy, it's all over the place, but I like it. I like it. And also, you know, the past couple of weeks we have not done weekly uploads, which is, you know, life be getting in the way sometimes. But, you know, we're going to try, I think for like the next stretch, like from like, I think like this October to like Thanksgiving, we can do weekly episodes for sure. So, but to know when we're uploading, oh my god.
Yeah, okay.
But to know when we're uploading, you have to do what?
You have to hit that bell.
Right. Hit post notifications. You gotta subscribe first, because you can't do notifications if you're not subscribed. And then, to encourage your girl, you gotta like. You gotta comment. Let me know what you thought was funny, interesting, what you disagreed with, like all of that. But yeah, that's all we got for y'all.
Yeah, that's it.
Bye.
Peace.